All right. Yeah. So we have, let's see, tenacity and galvanizing. We have galvanizing. We have galvanizing and enablement. We have tenacity and enablement. Discernment and tenacity. We have uh, galvanizing and enablement. Galvanizing and enablement, but the other way around for me. We have tenacity and wonder from
Hmm.
Whitney, and we have a thoughtful enablement and tenacity. And they don't
Yeah.
have to be steps next to each other, correct? They don't
No, they can,
necessarily
they're
have to
any
be.
two. So my two geniuses are Wonder and Galvanizing. And I think that's why some of the community leadership stuff has come very easily to me, especially with the galvanizing. Like, I know how to ask people to do stuff. And that's like, as a galvanizer, your role is to, like, once the idea has been discerned and stuff, you are like, okay, everybody, help me build this community. So I have an unfair advantage of being loving and being good at galvanizing. So good news and not good news for everyone here. I think you need a galvanizer. Doesn't have to be you, okay? So if you're like, I freaking hate this, but I'm good at discerning, that all of these, there's no right or wrong answers to this, but it really, really, really will help you if you have, specifically around volunteer management, if you have a galvanizing strength or a person that you can put in charge of galvanizing. And Whitney, you just asked, would you recommend explaining this to potential volunteers? Absolutely. So last month we had a volunteer brunch and I had everyone put like their two smiley faces and their two sad faces. And it helped so much because, as I said, yes, pairing up as a team. And as I said, like, I don't want to know where the tables go. Like, I have no interest in evaluating these decisions. But so many of our volunteers were like, I love doing this. So many of our volunteers are in the enablement category where they're just like, enablement is kind of like put me in coach. Okay. I have no tenacity. I take the spices out of the spice cabinet and I forget to put them back. So,
Hmm. So
um,
you're not a completionist in needing to
no,
finish
no,
finish the
I am
things. Yeah.
not.
Okay.
And like, I think that's why I also am not a perfectionist because I just can, I don't care. Like,
Hmm.
if it's like 90% good, I'm fine with it. So,
Now, do you find that there's an ideal ratio? I'll voice this question of like, do you need to have one of each category, or is it bad to have only one galvanizer if you've got five people per every other category? Are you outnumbered at that point? Like, or do you think it really doesn't matter by quantity at that point?
I think it depends on what your tasks are, right? So, like, if you are running a futurism community, you might want to make sure your volunteers are also big on wondering and maybe big on invention. For
Hmm.
Soapbox, for like the fact that a lot of our programming is events, is like live things, is a lot of moving parts. Um, we really need the enablers. Like we just need people that are down to help. So I mean, maybe the authors of this framework, Patrick something, would have better ideas on if there's an ideal ratio. But I think for me personally, I want to at least make sure that there are some people that really love each category. So that's my personal take. Does anyone else, other than Mike, I love your questions. Does anyone else have questions about this framework, whether it's like use cases or like something that just entered your mind right now that you want to ask about, or like how it fits into leadership? Any questions about this? Or
Yeah, but
thoughts? Or did you like it? Are you like, this
yeah,
is
let's just do a reaction. Even if you guys
yeah.
can pop in the chat, just pop in a reaction about it. Is this amazing? Was this eye opening? Was this hopefully not depressing?
It could be,
Were
if
there
it's depressing, that's good to know too. Like,
Right? Yeah, let us know how you're feeling
yeah,
about this information. I will voice that I'm finding it extremely. I love frameworks that help you unpack and understand how people work well together, and I think
yes,
this is extremely actionable because the stage that my community is at is, I'm a community manager. I'm a one person army with running it. But I have people that are already kind of embodying this elevated interest. And so it's interesting to know what might complement me to create a more complete management style. We do have people here. Let's see. So, Tarika, clarity about who people are is essential.
yes.
Absolutely. Christy voiced it kind of obvious after the fact. Isn't that true about wisdom? Where you're like, well, no, of course. And how did I not know that before now? I totally relate to that feeling. This is really helpful. And we do have a question. Who is the author that brought this concept to the world originally?
Patrick something. It's called The Six Working Geniuses. Oops, I spelled genius wrong. It's a book. They have a website. There's an assessment. I did not take any of the assessments because I looked at this and I was like, I know which ones are mine. But it sounds awesome to explore. So yeah, it's Patrick and his last name starts with L.
Lencioni. I'm gonna put that right in the chat here for everybody else. Patrick Lencioni, The Six Types of Working Genius.